This video about digestive system and digestion of food. It will have several parts because the topic is very important and quite complicated. So first part about organs, juices and enzymes. The digestive system is a series of hollow organs joined in a long twisting tube from the mouth to the anus. Inside this tube is a thin, soft membrane lining of epithelium tissue called mucosa. In the mouth, stomach and small intestine, the mucosa contains tiny glands that produce juices to help digest food. There are also two important digestive organs that are liver and the pancreas, which produce juices and enzymes that reach the intestine through small tubes. In addition, parts of other organ systems, like nerves and blood, play a major role in the digestive system. So here the digestive system schematically presented. So you see this parts, and we will go to the names. So we have this mouth and with teeth and oral cavity, and then from oral cavity we have esophagus. Esophagus is like a tube through these pieces of food coming to stomach, here, stomach, and then after stomach it goes to small intestine, and then to large intestine, and other organs also here indicated: liver and pancreas and other organs. So, but in total there are 5 digestive juices: saliva, gastric juice, pancreatic juice, intestinal juice, and bile, secreted from salivary, gastric, pancreatic, intestinal, and hepatic glands respectively. So, and in digestive system, digestion go under action of enzymes. Here the list of enzymes is presented. I will not go too much in the details, but you can read this list of the enzymes. The only I should indicate that insulin is not insulin is not produced in small intestine. Insulin produced by pancreas. So it's pictured a little bit wrong. And insulin go to blood. The digestive process starts in mouth when you chew, and your salivary glands make saliva, a digestive juice with alkaline reaction, alkaline pH up to 7.6, which moisten food so that it moves more easy through the esophagus into stomach. Okay, so we have three pairs of the saliva glands, and they produce a lot of saliva. Okay, and saliva also has enzyme amylase that begins to break down cooked starches in your food to simple sugars. I should mention that it is, again, my opinion, but it is supported also by many research, that humans evolved to get energy from burning from burning animal fat, burning inside the digestive system. Burning animal fat is a source of energy, while animal proteins were used not only to build muscles, skin, hair, and connective tissues, but also to maintain life in the body. That is, to produce enzymes, hormones, and keep our immune system active. So here we have again a picture of the digestive system and names of the organs. So for long time, humans were in Ice Age. During the Ice Age, they were hunting for big animals, and big animals like mammoths were very fatty because fat was necessary to somehow isolate the body of this mammoth from very icy, very cold weather. And there was no plants, no trees, so that this ancient humans were building houses from bones of the mammoth, and also they used skin of the mouse as clothes. From esophagus, food portions are getting into stomach with gastric juice inside. Normal volume of the stomach fluid is from 20 to 100 milliliters, so it is normally not much, but it can increase during eating. And pH is highly acidic. pH is in range 1.5 to 3.5. It can be even if people eat proteins, the gastric juice can be very, very acidic. And it is highly acidic because it's a hydrochloric acid content, and it is rich in enzymes. It has pepsin to break down proteins to amino acids, as well as small chain of amino acids which name peptides, and lipases to split fat to fatty acids and glycerol. High acidity of the gastric juice in human stomach is close to level of acidity of meat-eating animals called scavengers, such as falconine birds and hyenas. Okay, here we see that hyenas and these birds, and they eat rotten meat, and they need high acidity to treat this toxic, bacteria and toxins to disinfect the meat, the food. And humans developed also being scavengers. So this is why we have so acidic juice, that we were eating rotten meat like scavengers. Okay, here the stomach cross section presented, and inside we have this liquid gastric juice and portions of the food coming inside. And what is happening? Gastric juice is found in all vertebrates, and its main function is to inactivate harmful microorganism in rotten meat. This is what is again the purpose of very high acidity of the gastric juice. Gastric juice, if it's some protein with fat getting inside, it is actually dissolves and produce some thick liquid called chyme. A small muscular valve, sphincter, controls when this chyme is released into the small intestine. For boiled eggs, it takes about 45 minutes to get from stomach and being absorbed in the large intestine. But for meat, it takes up to 3 hours. Activation of amylase to digest cooked starches needs alkaline pH. This it starts in saliva, and saliva has very alkaline pH up to 7.6. Therefore, after eating a mixture of carbohydrates with cooked meal and fish, much of protein and fat would be not digested, but moved into the large intestine to feed pathogenic bacteria in there that produce toxins and stinking gases. Okay, indeed, if people eat mixture of carbohydrates like boiled rice with pieces of meat and fish, then our body try to save energy, try to save time, and it is gastric juice does not have high acidity, and then the meat and fat are not completely digested, completely broken to pieces, and as small pieces they go to first to small intestine, and then but they cannot be absorbed. Of course, they go to large intestine, and in large intestine we have pathogenic bacteria. Okay, they will go to this little bit later. Okay, climate change that's created situations that this big and fatty mammoths just disappeared, they extinct, and therefore people were starving, and because hunting was not always successful, and they eventually developed slash and burn agriculture, which is first they tried to burn forest and they were collecting dead birds and other small animals. But then they got to the idea that burning of plants can enrich soil it produces nutrient-rich layer of ash, and then if grains are sown in the ash, then they are getting relatively good harvesting of the grain, and grain has such advantage that even in warm weather, relatively warm weather, it can be stored for years, in difference from meat and fat, which is quickly gets rotten. So grains were some safety for humans, that they can get calories anytime. But what is a problem that when humans were eating meat of animals and animal fat, volume of brain was growing up, and Cro-Magnons have used Cro-Magnons were brain volume of Cro-Magnons was 1 liter 500 milliliters, and now it is 300, almost 300 milliliters smaller amount. So we are because we don't consume enough of this animal fat and other nutrients, so our brain has smaller volume, and also our intellectual abilities also suffer. So the human brain consists of 60% of fat, and its growth requires animal fat and other nutrients, vitamins and minerals, as well as long-chain fatty acids, DHA. So this DHA people can get from milk, in particular, but also from fish and animal fat. Meanwhile, the human brain consumes a great deal of the body energy, up to 30% of energy consumed in this relatively small organ with 100 to 1,200 milliliters volume. So it needs a lot of blood supply, and of course, a lot of energy. So then this first part is video is over, and then we just think that conclusion is that if we want to stay and develop as intellectual beings, we have to consume meat and more animal fat, different animal fat. Okay, that's it. Okay.